Speaking of, another member from South America, Rase, going up against Monsanto. Team Genji face-off. You just saw Team Genji able to plant themselves #1. And once more, we see a deviation down the middle, the Priest and the Warrior. This might become a fated battle. And you know what, TJ? It's pretty iconic. It's Horde versus Alliance. WoW Classic is out. Anduin leading the Priests for the Alliance. Garrosh leading the Horde. Am I right?
I think so.
Yeah.
I'm pretty impressed.
There you go.
But Garrosh eventually
It was 50-50.
turns evil, and Anduin eventually grows up and becomes a wuss, but then mans up and
Well,
becomes a
Varian
champion.
also represents the Warriors too.
Yeah, but
Garrosh.
spoiler alert, Varian dies.
What?
Yeah.
How can he die? He summons the armies of Stormwind.
No, he dies.
Oh. Just like that, huh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that sucks. I want my money back.
Yeah. F's in the chat for Varian Rin.
Varian Rin was a sick card.
It was.
It was cool. It was like Master Oakheart, but with like 50 tons of testosterone packed behind it.
That was one of my favorite decks to play of all time.
Yeah.
Tempo Warrior.
He pulled out. So Varian Rin was a 10-mana 7/7, that legendary card for Warrior. That's Battle Cry. Summon 3 minions from your deck. So you'd play 3 fat minions, which is in honor of every testicle that Varian Rin has.
That's right, Dan. Monsanto going to be playing the combo priest in this game #1.
Juan Samdi, very similar in terms of just putting big presence on the board.
Yep.
And drawing a bunch of cards. But we'll see who comes out ahead in this epic battle between the Priest and the Warrior. I mean, the thing about it, though, is that this ban strategy also has been lining up in favor of the Control Warrior protectors. In fact, let me take a quick look.
Yeah, Eddie, and then Nalgadon.
And also Firebat.
Yeah, and
oh no, Firebat banned Warrior and protected Priest.
Did Race ban Mage?
No, Race banned Quest Druid.
Okay. This is a little more risky of a strategy. Race has a similar lineup to Eddie. And Eddie's ban strategy works out against Strife Crow because he could kind of target with Warrior and be guaranteed a good match with Warrior, whereas Race could not, considering that Monsanto has the Highlander Mage in his list, which ends up making the matchup a little bit more interesting. More is hinged on this game 1. For Race than it was for Eddie, and kind of the same strategy that he employed. Race does have the advantage in the Warrior Mirror matchup with the Baleful Banker, the Faces Manipulator, and the Hecklebots. Wow, look at that hand.
Is someone injured?
Yep, the Spellbreaker, I'd argue, is the big difference maker in Algadon's deck list.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he mentioned he wanted to double down on the Warrior versus Priest matchup.
TJ, I do not play a Hearthstone deck that cannot beat Northshire Cleric anymore. That's just not what I do. That's why I play Quest Road, because I thought Underbelly Fence, a great way to snipe it. I play Pilfer on 1, or I Quest, and I coin Pilfer, and then they play Northshire Cleric, and I just play Pilfer or some kind of thing, and then I just like the Underbelly Fence, and then I win.
Man, you know what card would be great in this metagame? Scorpo-Matic.
I play a Mossy Heart in that deck. They buff their stuff, I sap it.
Quest Rogue.
I've not lost to a single priest. I don't beat any other deck. But I have not lost to a single priest since I started playing Quest Rogue.
You get those priests.
Yeah. They tell me that target strategies don't exist. Well, that may be true. However, you can beat Priest with a lot of different stuff. The question is, in Conquest Geo, can you beat 2 classes with your entire lineup? Which tends to be Druid and Priest. Because Druid and Priest, I believe, are the 2 most popular classes this week. With Warrior being a close 3rd. In fact, can you find a strategy to beat all 3, TJ?
Warrior, or Priest, Shaman, Druid?
No, Priest, Druid, and Warrior. Those are the 3 most popular classes. Shaman's in 4th.
Highlander Mage.
Warlock. Does it?
It's close.
Not Druid. Not Druid. You think Mage beats the Druid?
Nah. not anymore.
The
I
Pocket
mean,
Galaxy it used
Mage, yes, Mage kept Druid out of the metagame for a while.
Right, because it had Conjur's Calling and Frost Novas and stuff, and Druid couldn't do anything about it.
Yes.
But now, because everything's so expensive, it's hard for them to actually pull it
Yeah,
off.
the timing doesn't work out well. Like, Question is all about timing. They're all about needing that much time. Like a specific amount of time.
They need specifically 4 extra mana crystals, spaced out.
And turns out the cards that got nerfed equals 4 mana crystals. 2 on Conjur's Calling, 2 on Luna's Pocket Galaxy. It's really only 1 on Conjur's Calling, but it's a twin spell, so it has 2. So it's a total of 2. Fun facts.
What now?
That was fun. Monsanto just has the number 7 across the board. 4-7, 1-7. Next turn he can play the 2-7. He's got the 7-7. Every minion that comes out that High Priest of Met is falling will be 7 as well.
Next week, he's going to play his 7th match. He's 27 years old.
77.
Is he 27? I don't really know.
Yeah. Well, this looks like a really easy opportunity at first glance for Monsanto to just draw cards. But I think that's what Rase is wanting him to do. Because if he double trades, Rase can utilize that next turn with Plague of Wrath.
He could silence trade and heal.
I think Monsanto... Yeah, that's true. That's true. Nothing has died, so Psychopop's not that great. I like this draw. I like the draw. I like the silence. I don't want the extra 1/1 for the Plague of Wrath, you know?
Yeah.
The Plague of Wrath is really scary because a single 1 won't be left over and 1 minion won't be healed. So Rase was hoping that he just trades, heals, and then he double trades and then Plague of Wrath.
Hold on Light Warden means if Rase finds a way to remove this stuff, he can Amet Light Warden. I think Monsanto's fine with these minions until Rase decides to deal with them. Hecklebot. Dangerous card.
What now?
I don't know what Rase wants to do here. None of these plays seem particularly appealing. Omega Devastator seems like the best play onto the board, but if Monsanto has another Circle of Healing, that would be massively punishing. He double trade Circle, draw 2 cards, Rase used a resource, and he's right back where he started.
Hecklebot is something that Rase is weighing, but it looks pretty heavy at this juncture.
Oh! Hoi!
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. Oh, the punish. The fire. Is there a good follow-up to this inner fire? That is the question. You know, with one fell swoop, Rase could also just take away the card draw source of this deck. But the threat is the Psychopomp, which summons a random friendly minion that died this game and then gives it reborn. Well, when 2 clerics are the only thing that died, pretty strong guarantee that it'll come back. Monsanto, again, developing very slowly. To be honest, I'm a little bit surprised that he went for this as opposed to the 1-7 bump, and then the 4-7 becomes the 7-7 and he kills the 3-1.
It spreads the power on board, makes it more resilient against Brawl, and because he does that, I imagine he's just trading in the second Warshire Cleric after he heals.
Makes sense.
Then he has 2 really good targets to survive, and 1 pretty decent target to survive.
Get train the Cleric.
Yep.
After she just gave him a couple cards. TJ, that is no way to treat a lady. Super Collider positioning, by the way. Monsanto very mindful of it.
Big clean plays. I like this, Dan. This feels good.
Monsanto is a man of many talents.
He is.
One of them is clean technical play in Hearthstone.
Squeaky clean.
Squeaky clean. He is the janitor of Hearthstone.
Cleans up after other people's messes. He says, you want to make a mess? I'll clean it up.
I mean, whatever survives is problematic. That's probably that's the least problematic.
Yep.
Or is it? Or did the exact minions that Monsanto wanted to die did die with the Psycho Pump?
So now he has 2 Norshire Clerics
An injured Blade Master.
and an injured Blade Master.
That's pretty decent. I mean, the clerics aren't super good.
It's decent, but I don't think it's worth it yet. Never mind.
I think it's worth.
The janitor just shut me up. Well, he hasn't
The
played it yet.
alternative is to play extra arms and like an acolyte here.
Yeah, or you can play both extra arms.
Ooh, 4 arms.
Oh, nice.
It's definitely the way to treat the lady.
The end begins.
Nice.
So you heal your opponent and punch. I like
Yep.
that. You offset the 2 life you give them with the 2 attack you get from the Light Warden. Rase has to deal with this. He did, Monsanto again positioned this, I believe, around ideal Superclad positioning.
I don't know.
I mean, he's putting a 3-1 in between, so. So what you want to do with Super Collider is put the least important minion in the middle, and your most important ones on the outside, so they don't bump into each other. And you also want to put the smallest amount of attack. So, based off this, it looks like is the ideal Super Collider positioning, because then you don't get the chance that the Light Warden attacks into the injured Blade Master. So well done.
Clean.
This looks like an opportunity for Rase to just go for Ziliax and a weapons project. The only thing is that you give your opponent the 2 attack weapon to kill Ziliax right back in return.
Yeah, but it's a lot of life gain. Ooh, shield block.
Okay, so this might be just weapons project without it.
He picked up shield slam.
Slam. Man, TJ, it's been about a solid 10 minutes, but I am still riding off the high of the Malgadon interview. That was special.
It was. All right, 1 drops left in the deck for Monsanto is a Light Warden and a Beaming Sidekick. That is it. But it's a 7/7. And he's got High Priest on Met.
Consider.
Which means he can reload with a bunch of small stuff. After the High Priest on Met, that turns into big stuff.
Yeah, let's see how many 1-mana minions are in the deck, TJ.
2.
Left?
Yep,
So it's just Light Warden and Beam Sidekick?
that's right. 1 Light Warden, 1 Beaming
Must
Sidekick.
Doesn't seem too bad. 7-mana draw 2. We used to play that card all the time. It was called Ancient of Lore.
Yeah, except it was a 5/5.
Somebody rising up to the board, trying to claw his way to the hero power. That's dope. Cool animations. I gotta say that the legendary entrance animations are really underrated right now. There's some really cool ones. I like Dosari, because there's like a kraken that emerges from the board, just slaps everything. Bonsamdi, which kind of climbs up. Different expansions, by the way.
Oh yeah, Bonsamdi,
What
Rastikan's Rumble. Yeah.
Yeah, there's some really cool ones.
Ziliax.
Ziliax just has the best voice line.
It's also pretty cool animation. He's like. Dun, 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 dun.
Oh yeah, where it's kind of fusing and building up into one perfect mech unit.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to miss Ziliax a lot. I've been saying this for like half a year already.
A lot of people won't though.
I'm going to be missing Ziliax a lot when it rotates out of standard.
I mean, it's just a card that fits into so many decks.
Unity.
Here it comes.
Precision.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It just sounds so good. When Ziliax rotates out, I'm going to be hosting a 21 gun salute in honor for my main man. Monsanto picks up another minion. So now we have the Amet reload. Speaking of 21 guns, right? Monsanto has Amet with Beaming Psychic, Lightward. Just gets increasingly more powerful. The thing is, Warrior is one of the best classes at dealing with it. It says Brawl, one of them which is used, and it has Plagues of Wrath. Or just one plague. Is it one plague or two plagues?
Just one plague for Rase.
Does he have a full pair of Scoundrel?
He does not. He's got a Baleful Banker. I know that doesn't help, but just thought I'd mention it.
Yeah, he could.
He's got a Faceless Manipulator. I know that doesn't help also, but I figured I'd mention that as well.
Maybe, you never know. Faceless Manipulator on like this Turner Overstrike would have been really good, but
or if Monsanto were to go all in with an Intel.
Quickly.
You know, Rase is getting slowly to the point where he could Archivist Elysiana Coin and Baleful Banker.
Wow.
He's been saving on the coin for a long time.
Remember when players were actually worried that that was going to happen?
Yeah. And remember how it actually could happen, but it often didn't get down to that?
Yeah. I like the setup for Monsanto. He doesn't want to show his Amet plus 1-drops yet. He wants to try and bait out another removal before he goes all in with his most powerful play.
Yep, really good positioning again against Super Collider.
Yep. Monsanto thinking about everything.
What now?
Really well done.
Crossing his I's and dotting his T's. Wow, just unloads the Omega Assembly because he just needs more gas from his hand. I don't even know.
I wonder.
I mean, at this point, he might be desperate enough to go for weaponized Pinata.
I must choose.
Weaponized Pinata could give something really impactful, but it feels unlikely. Right now, Rase is struggling, and finally we might see the Warrior falter to the Priest after getting a lot of games that went the other direction. That always seems to be the case. That's where we see like the matchups tend to go one way, then one player at the very end who's like, yeah, me too. I want to be able to also crush the popular strategy with my anti-priest lineup. And then they lose. I think that happened to Amnesiac, where it was like the priest was like winning against Shaman or like winning against like everything.
I got you, friend.
And then priest didn't get it.
Hey,
Yep.
I got you, friend.
Sorry, I was counting.
Yeah. 10, 17.
Yep.
20, 22, 24, 26.
I think it's exact.
Yeah, it looks exact lethal.
Maybe not even the weapons project. I can't remember if I counted it, but topsy-turvy coming in clutch.
Nicely done.
Oh, exacties. That's brutal, man.
That is brutal. You were really hoping as the Warrior player to beat the Priest, and it's been going the Warrior's way when everyone's complaining about Priest and talking about it as the best deck. And you start to buy into the hype. Yeah, the previous few series we've watched, yeah, Warrior's been crushing the Priest. There's always one player to remind everyone that nothing is guaranteed in Hearthstone. It can't always be 100%. Even if it's like 70%, even if it's a freeze mage versus Warrior where it was like an 85%, once in a while, you'll always have the player that upset the player that was super favored.
Yeah, Monsanto did have some good draws and some good outcomes, but he made it super awkward for Rase with good positioning all across the board, not overloading too much resources onto the board each time to play in a removal. So, well done.
Plus, you always like to see clean play rewarded.
Clean.
We're going to take a break.
Nice.
And when we come back, we're going to have game number 2 between Monsanto and Rase.
Shadows are rising again, darker than they've ever been. As evil descends from the skies, the world cries out, how will we survive? Out of the hall of explorers, and up from the dusty tombs, they grab their whips and fedoras. These legends of the past know exactly what to do. There might be magic monsters, mummies in the mud.
My name is Sam Braithwaite, and I'm the Senior Global Franchise Lead for Hearthstone Esports. This event was especially cool because it takes place right after the brand new expansion, Rise of Shadows. Historically in Hearthstone Esports, we do our big events like this towards the end of an expansion cycle, but we really wanted to shake things up and really showcase that not only is the world champion the person who can pilot the best decks, but also the person who, when presented with a brand new game, can put together the best decks leading into the world championship. Cheers to you guys, the sold out crowd here for the HCT 2019 World Championship.
Welcome back to 2019 HCT World Championship.
We've had a lot of fun games, and we're looking forward to the grand finals. Showdown. Viper versus Hunter Race. Only one can be the champion. Oh, come on!
Match be dead.
Wacko pick a Vix coming out from Hunter Race.
It's now or never. Archvillain reform.
Okay! In a completely solved game, Hunter Race finds a way to maximize his chances. It's been a wonderful journey throughout the past few years of the Hearthstone Championship Tour, where stars were made and dreams came true.
Rase versus Monsanto, currently 1-0 in favor of Monsanto after some pretty pristine play with the Priest. And when you lose to games like that, where your opponent played really well against other things like the small things like Super Collider and macro strategies like when to extend to the board, how much to invest into the resources and like test your opponent based off the wide range of possibilities they have. You're not too upset about that. And he didn't even like Divine Spirit, right? That wasn't even a Divine Spirit win. That was just like a beaming sidekick flip. So in the end, if you're Rase, you're obviously not happy. But at least you didn't get like the 10-10 on turn 3 victory, which always doesn't. It feels bad on both sides, to be quite honest.
And like I said, Monsanto played that, I think, very cleanly. Playing around Super Collider, playing around a lot of different removal options from Rase. So he made it awkward, and he had exact lethal at the end. Like.
That's right, TJ.
Those are satisfying games to watch.
Scrub that dish.
That's not a janitor. It's a dishwasher.
It's something.
He's also the
cleaning.
dishwasher of America's Grandmasters.
That's right. He is the busboy.
Never mind. Just never mind.
Are we having a little too much fun, TJ? That was going on?
Nah. All right. I don't think so.
Magic Trick, Zephyrus, Ray of Frost, and Mountain Giant. I actually do like this hand. The one thing that would make all of it better is if Monsanto had an opportunity to play Mountain Giant right before Rase gets to his quest completion. Because it usually tests the Druid to have specifically Oasis Surger to answer. Otherwise, they're going to be stuck taking 8 damage with the upside of more. This was actually a problem that existed before the Luna's Bucket Gouge nerf, right? not necessarily even just Reno Mage, but Cyclone Mage. They would just play the Mountain Giant. They played Banana Buffoon, and you just couldn't answer it.
Yeah. No, it's true. And Monsanto picks Spellbender, which I think I like more than Counterspell. Just because there's ways to test for Counterspell, but there's not great ways to test for Spellbender, especially when you're trying to do like Starfall math. Like you could innervate into a Counterspell, right? But you can't innervate into a Spellbender, and then sometimes these board clears live on a knife's edge where if you miss like a little bit of point of damage on one of the minions, it can be incredibly detrimental. So Spellbender is just a little more disruptive and harder to test for. That's why I like the Spellbender in that situation. Pretty cool. Clean.
Scoundrel.
Ooh.
I wonder if the Zephyrs here provides enough value for Monsanto. In this position, you're often offered a Wild Growth, an Animal Companion, and a Brightwing. In that spot, only Brightwing is the thing that contributes. It's the only minion that contributes toward the Mountain Giant plane of discounting it and playing it on 4.
Your wish is my suggestion.
Oh, actually, I guess he still can get it because the Wild Growth still counts as a card, too.
Yeah, Wild
So
Growth
he should
is
be
the same.
fine. Yeah, he should be fine.
Animal Companion also had merit just to try and go for an aggressive game plan, but I don't think his hand really lends itself to that outside the Mountain Giant. Ooh, Mark of Nature, Ancient of Lore, Keeper of the Grove.
So we're like the more important inflection points.
What to do?
It could be awkward to try and play something on turn 4, so Keeper of the Grove could be like just in case he ends up ramping and getting like Huffer, but I think it should be fine.
Wait a gosh darn second. Isn't
What's
this kind of ironic?
What? The Conjurer's Calling?
The mage playing Wild Growth against a druid?
Oh, yeah, it is pretty funny. Yep, so Monsanto does get to play the giant on turn 4. It's not 4 mana. That's kind of the difference maker, what we're talking about.
But if Rase does not deal with this Mountain Giant,
Yes.
he is in some trouble.
And it's going to get pretty bad because Rase hasn't even finished the quest. And it's kind of what we're talking about, having that awkward moment where you finish the quest, but you might just die.
Yeah.
Keeper of the Grove can shut down the 3-2. Maybe challenge the 8-8 for Starfall. In fact, if Rase feels so inclined, does he even just Keeper of the Grove the 8-8 ahead of time to set up the Starfall? That's too obvious, I
must
think.
safeguard
Yeah.
the land.
Plus, Conjurer's Calling is right there to punish him.
Conjurer's Calling is going to be pretty massive.
I'd say so, yes.
Rase doesn't really have a way to like kill. If the first Mountain Giant goes off and he doesn't have a way to kill for the second Conjurer's Calling, it snowballs out of control from there.
Yep. Wow, I've seen this before.
Oh, yeah.
This takes me back.
And Spellbender. This even
Spellbender.
prevents
Stop Starfall.
Starfall, like I don't even know. Starfall Innervate Wrath? Like,
Right.
what would even kill it here?
Race can't believe it says, didn't we nerf this deck into the ground? Why is it still around?
Yeah. I mean, this even prevents Rase from killing off one Mountain Giant. He could otherwise Starfall and clear it off with the Keeper of Grove.
And play the Defender.
But now it's hard for him to play around both, right? Because if he Starfalls first and it hits the Spellbender, and if he's wants to play around Splitting Image, then he needs to Starfall first.
The Hidden Oasis and Anubis Defender.
Yeah, I mean, that gives him a way to kind of fight for the board, but he has no idea what this is. If it's Counterspell, he's dead on board. At this point, though, I don't even know if he can afford to play around any secrets.
Time waits for no one.
I mean, he's just laughing to himself, like, kind of laughing at his own pain right now, but...
Yep, test for Counterspell. This test for Mirror Entity.
Jewels of the sound.
Does have the opportunity to throw in the Innervate just to draw a card. Is he dead? I think he's dead. Conjure's Calling into the hero power should kill as long as there's no taunts that get generated from it. Because the Conjure's Calling gets past the taunt, 16 face, and hero power. Is there a way to guarantee it, though? There is not.
Yes, there is. Voodoo Doll, double Ray of Frost, and then Pink Face.
Yeah, double Ray of Frost of Voodoo Doll.
Double Ray of Frost and Voodoo Doll. You have exact mana to Pink Face.
Nicely done.
Clean!
It's even exact mana, exact lethal. Rase can't believe it.
Yeah, exact mana, exact lethal last game as well at the end. Though it was a much longer, more drawn-out game, but Monsanto 4-2 now.
The Reno Mage also, over the course of the past 2 weeks, has gotten 3 important victories. 2 for Monsanto, 1 for Firebad.
Yeah, it's still, I think, a force to be reckoned with. I like the Reno Mage bring, especially when you consider it in like the scenario we brought up earlier. How do you multi-target the 3 most popular decks? Druid, Priest, and Warrior. I don't think there's a deck that targets all 3 of them and has a favorable win rate, but I think that Mage can hold its own against all 3.
Sure. And that's what you want in Conquest.
And that's what you want. And, you know, you don't have to play the Reno Mage. If you're going up against aggressive lineup, it's hard to find a super aggressive lineup right now, but an aggressively themed lineup, sure, you're just not going to play Reno Mage. But in these kind of pockets, I think it was a great bring, and he's rewarded with a win there.
Yep. Well, that does it for our 4th match. I'd love to talk a little bit more about that Reno Mage, but that's just It's just food for thought for the players to think about for the future weeks. I think it's very easy to hear influential and successful players like Hunter Ace or like Saiyan and all of them just say like, oh, this is the deck. This is like the lineup that you should play. But I do appreciate when players are able to go against the grain. One of them is Monsanto with his Reno Mage. He's going to join us for a quick interview. So let's go ahead and ask him as Monsanto joins us on the line. Monsanto, are you there?
Oh, yeah. Hello.
Hey, what's up? So, Reno Mage seems to be doing fairly well. I don't think you lost with it this week, right? You played it 2 games into 1-2-0?
Yeah.
Yep, small sample size, but that's according to plan, right? Like, basically, everything is executed according to how you thought it would?
I mean, both games I drew pretty well, but I just feel like I did against a Priest and against a Druid, and if I put a Shaman in my lineup instead of Mage, I get 2 slightly worse matchup in that position, so I feel like playing Mage was just better.
Got it. Players are just disagreeing with you and saying, like, Monsanto is wrong about Zoo versus Warrior. Monsanto's wrong about Mage versus Priest. What do you say to that?
Oh, I mean, Mage against Priest it's not that favored for the Mage, but like Zoo against Warrior with the list that we brought last week, I think was actually favored for Zoo. I did a lot of practice by myself, and I felt like it's pretty sure the Zoo was good against the Warrior I was facing back then. Not against every Warrior, but like
sure.
the greedier Warriors were pretty bad against Zoo.
The ones with the Archivist trying to beat other warriors, is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, and some of them didn't have Shield Slam, some of them didn't have Weapons Project or early game.
Right. Got it. Do you feel like a lot of it might even be the fact that some players aren't exactly perfect in their piloting skills of the Zoo Warlock, or related decks like Reno Mage and the technical skills required to pilot them?
Reno Mage isn't that hard. These 2 games I played were pretty straightforward. Zoo is really hard. I've never been a fan of Zoo. I've been playing since 2016, and I've never brought Zoo to a big tournament. And I'm starting to learn Zoo right now, and it's the hardest deck for me to play. So I don't know about the others. Maybe they're a little bit rusty on their Zoo play, or maybe I don't know. It's hard to tell, but I don't know. Zoo's pretty fine right now.
Yeah, I think it's generally echoed as a sentiment across many of the players. And if you haven't really taken time to learn Zoo, this is a really good time, like you said, because the deck feels pretty rewarding when you can play it. And There's a lot of decisions to be made for sure, especially even deck building, even just like how you choose to outfit your 30 cards. All right, Monsanto, we are almost out of time here. So any last comments that you'd like to say? What do you think about the whole Nalgadon versus Gallon thing that went down? Just out of
Who
curiosity.
won? I didn't see who won.
Now get on 2-0.
Nalgadon 2-0'd. And also
Did
he
he trash
proceeded to
talk
call out
comment?
Europe right afterwards. It was great.
Oh, Europe? They think they're so good.
Are
But
they?
like they're not watching their own games. I don't know.
That's
Yes!
Oh,
Two in a row.
That's right.
Let's
oh,
get
wow.
'em.
This streak is good. We're definitely going to ask Buddyface and Zalay, and I know the Zalay will deliver. So thank you, Monsanto. No other comments are necessary. Congratulations on your victory. A great week for you, and we'll see you back next week.
Thank you.